Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Corey with DeVault Family Living, and today we're going to be reviewing the Makita 18 volt times 2 cordless lawnmower. This is not a sponsored video, although if Makita wants to send me anything, I'd be happy to take it. If you ever had any reservations about buying a cordless lawnmower or got any questions about the Makita brand in particular, please stay tuned. So this is what we're going to be reviewing today. This is my 21-inch Makita self-propelled XML08 36 volt lawnmower. Does hold 4 18-volt batteries. Obviously it does have a bagger, side discharge, and it is also a mulcher. Now if you want to mulch, you do have to put the little plug down there in the deck so that way you can mulch. I run around with a bag on sometimes, but I hardly ever use it just because I mulch most of the time. A couple of the controls that are on this, you got your power switch here, which obviously I left on. It does have a timer, so it'll automatically turn off after a while. It's got your battery light indicator to show the level of your batteries. And it also has a silent mode here, which keeps the RPMs down. Don't remember the RPMs on the blade. I think it goes down to 1800 or 2200 maybe, if I'm not mistaken, on silent mode. And then what'll happen if you get into some heavy grass is that it will turn it up to 2800 RPMs, I believe. So let me go ahead and get everything ready, and then we'll go out and mow some grass, and you can see how quiet it is. So I went ahead and did around the perimeter of the lawn here, but I kind of wanted to give you a feel for how tall or how much grass we're actually taking off. And in some spots here, you can see it's probably going to be a good solid 2 to 3 inches that we're going to be taking off. Normally I do my lawn twice every week, and unfortunately I just haven't had the time to do it the first time this week, so it's late in the week now, and I'm only going to do it once this week, which I don't mind. I don't mind getting away from the work. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a view of what we're dealing with. I'm going to go ahead and have the wife grab the camera. We're going to walk you through these couple of strips and show you, give you an idea of the sounds and the pace and everything on the lawnmower. All right, so to start this thing, you basically just push this red button here on the side, pull the red handle, and away you go. We're going to go ahead and a couple of things that you'll hear here. Obviously, you can hear the lawnmower and running, and this is basically in its quiet mode. Once you hear it hit some thicker grass, you will hear the engine ramp up and the RPMs ramp up in it. But I just basically want to give you an idea for sound and the pace. As far as the pace goes, this thing will go faster than you even ever want to mow. So it is a variable speed, self-propelled. So we'll go ahead and get this little strip done here, and that'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about as far as sound. Well, obviously you just heard the RPMs ramp up on the motor because it is hitting a little thicker grass. And it'll stay that way basically until we get to some lighter grass, and then it'll ramp back down again. There, you probably heard it right there. Alright, so hopefully that gives you a little idea of how quiet this thing actually really is. Now we'll go over some of the pros and cons of it and hopefully this will answer any questions you may have about it. First thing, one of the first pros that I feel is probably the best one is obviously the quietness of the engine, or motor in this case, electric motor in this case. I'm an early bird, so I get up super early in the morning, and I like to get my chores done before it gets too hot out, and especially on the hot summer days. And this just makes it easy. I run this thing all the time. The neighbors have never ever mentioned anything, even when I've gotten up as early as 6:30 in the morning and mowed my lawn, and nobody around said a word. As a matter of fact, when I asked them about it, they said that they didn't even hear me, didn't even know I was out mowing. So that's one of the great things. Obviously, the battery life isn't the best. I wish Makita would have waited till they got their 40-volt system out and used that in this lawnmower versus the 18-volt, but they obviously didn't. So the 4 batteries do last quite a long time. I live in a normal sized city lot, and I'm on a corner lot actually, and I'm able to mow my whole lawn front and back on 4 6-amp-hour batteries. So the battery life isn't great, but it isn't terrible either. I can get my whole lawn done, and that's really all I need. So one of the other things is the availability to use your batteries and all your other Makita tools. I was already on the Makita platform, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I went with a Makita mower. Otherwise, I probably would have ended up going with the Ego. Another thing is bagging. This mower does a phenomenal job bagging. Unfortunately, I don't bag all that much, but if you're a person that bags their lawn, this mower, you won't be disappointed in it, I guarantee it. It picks up everything, and the bag actually holds quite a bit. As you can see, it's a pretty large bag, so it does pretty well. Deck height adjustment is another easy thing to do. I got a little lever right here. You move it up and down, and it moves the whole deck. It's one of the easiest deck height adjustment systems that I've ever used. Another great feature on this lawnmower is the rubber tires. They are actually rubber, they're not plastic. On my other lawnmowers in the past, I have had to replace wheels usually every 2 to 3 years because of being self-propelled, and it just wears the hard plastic out. And on my last mower, I think it was $70 for a set of 4 wheels. So these rubber ones, they hold up really well. Now, I have only had this lawnmower about 3 months, but there's basically no wear on them showing yet, and I've used it quite a bit. I mowed, like I said earlier, I do mow my lawn twice every week. So I've already mowed quite a bit, and there's absolutely no wear shown so far. Another pro is the actual motor strength in this. About 2 weeks ago, I mowed the lawn when it was sprinkling while I was mowing, and this lawnmower didn't have a problem at all going through any of the wet grass, and I was moving at a faster than normal pace. It did eat through quite a bit of batteries doing that, but it actually went through it. It never shut down, and it made it through and cut the lawn just fine. And for the last pro, it's both kind of a pro and a con. This thing is very well built. The deck on it is full steel, and it's actually pretty heavy gauge steel as well. Everything, the fit and finish, everything's real solid on this thing. That also kind of makes it a con, obviously, because with it having a steel deck, it is very heavy. It's not something you're just going to pick up and throw into the back of your car and head over to Grandma's house to cut her lawn. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to buy one. And now, as far as the cons go, the first and probably my biggest gripe on this lawnmower is that Makita, for some oddball reason, did not make this handle folding. Now, I have seen other reviews, and Makita's statement to it is that it's made for professionals, and professionals wouldn't fold it up. Well, I think they missed out on this one, because I don't know anybody that doesn't like extra storage, and if this whole handle folded up for easy storage, I don't think anybody would have been disappointed in that. Another big con is obviously going to be the price. This thing is very expensive. It was $739 on Amazon when I just checked it earlier, and that was for the tool only. That didn't include any of the batteries. The kit price with 4 batteries and a charger was $949. So it isn't a cheap lawnmower, but I do anticipate that it does last a long time. I've owned a lot of Makita tools, and they have generally lasted for a long time, and I've never had any issues with any of them. Another one of my big gripes with this lawnmower is, for some reason, and it's not a deal breaker obviously, but I think Makita could have added another button here to override the motor to run it at high RPM for longer, and then put a safety shut off. I know they do that basically because they don't want to overheat the motor or overheat the batteries that's running the motor. But they could have put in a safety sensor or something like that, where if they were getting too hot, it could have shut it down, or turned it back down to a lower RPM. The higher RPM is best to be used, like when picking up leaves in the fall. Like I was saying earlier, I do bag my leaves, so when picking those up, it's just easier for picking up that and small sticks and stuff like that. And really the last con that I have is mulching. This thing isn't a very great mulcher. If I had to rate it, it would probably be a 5 out of 10. It does relatively well as long as you cut your grass on a consistent basis. Like I said earlier, I do normally cut my grass twice a week, and it does great when I do that. But if I go once a week and I got to cut, an inch or two off the top, then it does leave some mulch behind, and I'm not crazy about that. You would think for the price of this thing that Makita could have did a little bit better job. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap this video up for today. I hope that answered most of your questions about the Makita cordless lawnmower. If there's something else that you'd like to know, please don't be afraid to go down in the comment section and leave me a comment. I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. Well, Mama's cooking dinner, so I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.